this is a little hard to time date, but it's as simple as this. When I came out of Tempe, Arizona, which you could find my receipts at Fuzzy's off of Mill on my ATM card, on my credit card. I got a ride. I paid like 140 bucks. I won some money at the casino. The white car was there at the casino at the bus stop after I won the money. And I hopped on there. I seen it sitting there. Like I say, I didn't know back then. Now, the key thing is I paid 140 bucks. They dropped me off in Edinburgh, right there by Blythe, on the other side of the Colorado River. Okay, when I was there, I didn't know I was being chased, but I hung there for a little bit. And I hung at Flying J's. Now, one day I'm sitting inside of Flying J's. I've been there, who knows, a month, you know. And I'm sitting there inside of Flying J's, and a truck driver comes up and goes, "What are you doing just sitting here?" He was like from Central America or so. Dark skin, educated. He owned his own truck. This is his 5th truck he owned. And he told me he's drove 1 million miles, which is phenomenal. I used to be a truck driver for about a year and a half, whatever it was, 2 years, whatever. And driving is just rigorous. He has a wife and kids somewhere in LA. He was really cool. But anyway, so he comes up, "What are you doing sitting here?" And I go, "Well, I'm doing nothing." And so he says, "I need help moving junk around because the front end's too heavy on his truck." Now, he was like 12,000, 7,000 pounds still under total gross, but the front end was heavy by, I don't know what, enough, 1,000 pounds, 1,500 pounds, I don't know what it was. But anyway, so he couldn't get the load right. So me and him hopped in the back of that diesel. It's hot. We crawl over all the units of wood. It was like firewood or something like that. We move all the dunnage wood to the back, and the tarps and stuff. They were like those blankets you use for, you know, moving furniture. And we move those to the back of the container. It's a 40-foot container. Now, that should have took the weight off of the front end. That's what he was trying to do. So he weighed in once, whatever, it overweighed. He got me to help move it. He went and weighed again. It was still overweight. As a matter of fact, it gained weight. It didn't make any sense. He even said it. When on our way driving back, he drove me from Blythe to here, Pilots down there in Desert Hot Springs, and he is a truck driving stop, and he drove me there. And even while we were driving, he goes, "I've never seen this." He goes, "It doesn't make any sense. I've been driving all these years." And that's when he told me how many miles he drove. So the front end stayed heavy. I told him that an angel put his foot on the bumper, and for he'd drag me home, for he'd get me here, because this is where I want to go. I want to come right here to Desert Hot Springs from Blythe. Okay, anyways, because here's where the pot shops are at. I want to get some weed and get up out of that hot desert because it was still hot. So anyway, so we unload the truck. Now we pull out of the back of that truck, and it's hot. And I probably got a beer over there because I drink all the time. And that white car flies up on us. Now, I didn't know who the white car was again, but he pulls up like he's some kind of undercover cop or something, and he's going to do something, you know, we're doing something. It was the strangest thing. That's why it sticks in my memory, because the behavior was weird. If there's something odd, it sticks in people's minds. If it's normal, you let it go. That's the way the mind is. But anyway, so I hopped in his truck with him. He drove me back. There's a truck stop. I don't even know if it's a truck stop. It's right before you get into the Coachella Valley area. After you pass through all the desert on the 10 freeway, you start entering the area. It's down there somewhere by Thermal, but Thermal's off to the left by the 111. So it's about down there. I don't know what the area is. So he has to pull over and take a pee. So he pulls over. He doesn't get off the off-ramp. He just takes a piss right there, you know, by his gas tank, you know, hiding himself the best he can. I had to go to the bathroom too, but I'm not going to pee out there in the public. So then we drive, and then I look down there, and sure enough, there's that white car sitting down there by the gas station or the Circle K or store, whatever the hell was down there. Because I was thinking of dumping off right there. I was close enough to town, and that would have been kind of a nice spot too. But, you know, so he went all the way up to he went all the way up to Pilot, and by Palm Springs, Desert Hot Springs, and he dropped me off. Now from there, I went into a tree behind Del Taco, hamburger place across the street. Now, when I'm sitting there in a tree drinking like I always do, sure enough, there's that lady, the blonde-haired lady, talking to one of the people who work at the store. Now I'm feeling uneasy there, so I decide to get up and get out of there because I could obviously tell they're looking at me and talking about me and they're worried or this or that. You can see homeless people have sat here all the time, but it is Palm Springs. They don't like homeless people there. And I know that. I'm still on that side of the freeway, but I still need a shower. So I just got there. I'm tired because I walked down from that drive and being up all night, I'm just tired. So anyways, I got to stay in that tree. And so I get up and I walk across the street to the place to where the shower's at, the Pilot. Now, right when I'm doing that, a cop comes flying into the parking lot. Well, that cop was called on me by that blonde-haired lady or the lady that worked at the store. This is how they do it. The blonde-haired girl, the blonde-haired guy, they always call the cops to try to bust me doing wherever. I'm just a homeless guy sitting there trying to get through my life, and the cops, they're never busting me because I'm not doing anything. That's the funny thing. But the thing is they're leaving their name with the cops, and they did there. Now from there, the next morning, I take me a shower and I walk into Desert Hot Springs. There's the white car underneath a pepper tree, way down there by Dillon. Okay, and so then I head right down Dillon. It's a couple-mile walk. I drop into the trees there. I got my gear. I'm tired. Probably cleaned. I showered. I think it's going to rain a little bit from there, like a few days. So I have to hide inside of this box. Luckily, what do you call it? A refrigerator box, a big one, a big heater box, something. I was able to do that, get in there and put my tarp over it, and I got out of the rain for a few days. But when I was there in a box, that white car pulls up again. Okay, now this is where it gets funny. Now from there, what I did is I got a ride up to Yucca on the bus. I landed up there in Yucca. Now here's the key thing is once I'm up in Yucca, and I'm not here very long. Now this is hard to time date, but it's there. It could be found. It's only, because from Yucca, that's when I was up in Yucca for about a month or two. Okay, now as soon as I'm up in Yucca, I'm in this park. It's the park over there by the Citizen Center. Some guy walks up to me and he goes, a girl was raped in the park down there. I go, where? And down there in the river bottom. Some guy put a plastic bag on her head, tied her hands behind her back, had sex with her, raped her. The guy got arrested, he told me. This is about 2 years ago. Okay, 3 years ago, somewhere in there, 2-3 years. Got arrested. This could be found to document if she did get arrested. And he goes, the guy looked just like you, and he reads personalities like you. And I'm thinking, what's the chances of that? You know how many few people do numerology? I mean, it's who would do it unless you're a professional and you're getting paid like one of these psychics $50-$80 an hour. I just do it for fun. I've read like probably 28,000 at this point in my life. People love it. I like it. It's fun to work with the numbers, and I get to go into my eschatology, my atomic God concepts, that's what I'm about. I'm about end time scenario eschatology, they call it. Yeah, I believe in the second coming of Jesus, and I'm awaiting. And these are the events that happen before he shows up. So I want to see it. So anyway, so then he goes, okay, and he goes, looks like just like you. Now the funny thing is, and then he goes, he's something like, this guy's gonna get hurt. Something bad's gonna happen to him. And I'm like, okay, whatever, It doesn't really click with me, but it was strange that he said it, so it stuck in my head. Plus, I worked as a snitch. So with that is that I remember details. I remember everything that's criminal. I just have a mind for it. My brother was a criminal. I grew up with them. Tried to hurt me, kill me, sent me to the molester. Had all kind of bad things happen to me because of my brother's hand. So I grew up with a criminal, so I have an eye for a criminal. Okay, it just comes with the territory. Kept me alive. And so anyway, so I just kind of forget about it. That was a couple years ago. Now, then a girl walks up to me, and this must have been part of the hit team there, and she says the same thing. Oh, a girl got raped down here, and blah, 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 and that guy's really going to get it. They're going to hurt that guy. They're going to do bad to him. Okay, something like that. Then she walks off. I don't think much of it. I go about what I'm doing. Now, from there, here's where it gets funny and complicated, and here's where the cops come in, and also the citizens on patrol and the old Marines around this area who help watch this area. This is where they all got focused on me. Now I want to say is I probably did meet that guy, because somewhere in the park I want to read this guy, and he goes, oh no, blah, blah. And then he goes, I could read you. But he read me without my numbers. He just looked at me and blah, 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 blah. Said I wanted it to be, in a box and produced this way, like an honest, hardworking, productive type of thinker. Well, That's me, you know what I'm trying to, a thinker builder. A 588 makes me a thinker builder, a strategizing militant, an analyst, a mathematician if I went to school. You know, I could think, I could build ideas, and that's what I do with numerology. I build ideas, and that's what I do with Atomic God is I build ideas. And I got a 3, which makes me kind and sensitive and concerned about people. Empathic, I could feel people's feelings real good, which gives me an ability to interpret them, analyze them, and structure who they are and stuff it in my head. I'm pretty good at it considering I didn't have an education for the most part. Okay, so I do believe I met this guy. Now he looked kind of my height, kind of square in the face, didn't really stick. Okay, now from there, here's where it gets complicated. Like I say, here's where the citizen on patrol, these old men got involved. Now from there, I walk all the way down to Morongo. I get to Indian Truck Trail. I put this from that point on. Okay, now when I walk down there, I got stalked down, footprints in front of me, the green truck behind me, which was the same green truck in Riverside. Who knows, like 6 months later, long time later, maybe a year later, long time later, that green truck was still there. That's a hitman, okay, or a cop. That's what I'm trying to say. So now the guy picks me up. I told you the Uber driver, old guy, picks me up. He drives me down to Pilot, and he goes, blah, 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 you be good. I told you that whole story. Now, the key element here is that this is where the citizens on patrol picked me up. This is where I became like one of their, like a criminal to the cops or to the crime. This is the best I can tell. Down there at the park, you had the people working the building where the library's at, in that whole area. They stare at me, look at me. They all got me tagged as some kind of bad guy who's come through town. Now, I smoke a little grass and I drink, but that's all I do. You see, that's the key thing. And then I talk a lot because I like numerology and I like eschatology. And I care about people. I like to enlighten them. I believe it's my calling. I didn't get an education. I gave my brother my money and my opportunities, and he's had these people messing with me everywhere I go. So I haven't built a very good life. I just move around life. But when I move around, I get to talk to people. It works for me. It works for them. So now the key thing is that this is where somehow the attention got on me like I was a bad guy. Now, after that, I went to Desert Hot Springs, like I said. I was stalked from about December 4th, when it got bad, from December 4th until Christmas Day. Now, Christmas Day, that's when it was the attempted kill up in the hills back there behind the pot shop. There were 3 people, like I say, with halogens. They had listening devices. I was at least an eighth of a mile, if not a quarter mile away from these people. And when I sit there and said, oh, they got halogen lights, all of a sudden the lights went off. They were listening, and all of a sudden all 3 lights pointed right at me. Now, how in the heck can that? They either got infrared and they were seeing me up on that hill, or they had both infrared and listening devices, ear boomers, and halogen lights. So if I would have spoke, they would have heard it. They turned off their flashlights. They used their infrared on me, seen where I was at, turned their halogens all back on me, started coming after me, and that's where I ran up the highway like I told that story. Now from there I had to go to Coachella. So for 20 days before that hit event, I had people chasing me every field, every day. Every time I landed somewhere in the field out in the middle of nowhere, there'd be someone on a bike, someone on a car, that white truck, people coming after me. I couldn't sleep during the day, and at night they would come after me too. I'd see the flashlight and I'd move all over the place. And I live good down in the dirt. I go in the gullies. I live behind little trees. Chances of just someone running across me in the wilderness ain't gonna happen. And when it happens all the time for 20 days straight, then I started getting to know I'm being stalked. You know, I was getting really tired. It was getting serious, and then it peaked on Christmas night when they tried to kill me out there. And then I had to go into Coachella Valley Mission. But now after I went into the mission, it took a long time from the time I was up here in Yucca through the mission, through Desert Hot Springs. Who knows? 6 months. I land up here in January after coming out of the mission. It's freezing cold. Lenena takes me in her closet. Okay, lets me sleep there for 2 weeks. I would have been dead. Cold, rainy. These hitmen were after me. I was exhausted. They would have got me. I still had corona. Okay, so now I ran it for 2 months, like I said, February and March. Or no, I just ran it in March. Okay, I had my birthday in this guy's garage. I was living there. Paid $400 a month for that place. And then I went into this lady's backyard. Laura, she lives right here off of Napa. Charlie knows her. Laura's here. So she's a Christian over here, but partier still. Now, from there, when I went homeless out of Laura's backyard, now all of a sudden I had Citizens Patrol on me, cops on me, all these police-orientated type of people. No reason to be looking at me. I'm out there smoking pot at worst, which is hard to get a hold of, and I'm drinking all the time, and I'm not causing any trouble, and I'm living in fields all by myself. Okay, now let's continue with this. So the cops are on me. Everybody's on me. I'm tired of being chased. That's when I went down to Blythe, like I said, with the guy who did speed, who pulled into the park, and there was the white truck with the emblem. There was the white van from the park, the senior citizens place, and there was the white car. There they were at the park in Blythe. Then like I said, I had to go to Needles. I came all the way back. They followed me back. Boom. So I'm saying is that, and that was the second time I left, I believe. Either the first or second. The other time was with Karen. Regardless, what I'm trying to say is these people are just clocking around me. And that's what I'm trying to point at, is that the white guy, the girl, the guy with the truck with the emblem in it, how he can really get a hold of me is he's got the cops working on one hand, he's got the black man who's got the heroin addict assassin team on the other, and if the assassin team can't get me and I get far enough away from these people and vehicles and I go out into the hills, well, then there's a cop on me. Okay, they just want to know where I'm at. Cop will say, oh, he's just out there. Okay, well, now they found out where I'm at. But the key thing is they talk to the cops, and this is the hit team that's talking to the police. Now, when I was up there in Blythe during this time where the white truck and stuff went on, I was up there way out in the dark. And this is the people were around me and stuff. I seen him on one side of the highway, the 10, and I went where the laundromat is, and I went up to the other side, way up in the hills. It's dark. I'm out there on my sleeping bag. I'm sleeping. I drink like I do. I'm sleeping. I feel my arm being tugged at. I think I'm dreaming. I think my arm's twitching. I don't worry about it too much. I'm still drinking. And then at some point I go, no, something's tugging on my sleeping bag. It's dark out there. So I get up and I fling my sleeping bag up and stand, get up on, ready for battle. Whatever it was went running up the hill and over the ridge on the hill. Now, I mean, it was dark and I just woke up, so I could see a silhouette of a figure. I just don't know what I was looking at. Was it a mountain lion? It looked more like a human being. It was pretty damn big. Now, the reason why I say mountain lion, because I was on the other side of the highway the night before, the day before, or even that day, and there was a mountain lion that went up into a tree behind me while I was sitting there drinking, listening to my radio a couple 100 feet away. And it looked hungry, and it treated itself to watch me. So that's what I just assumed. And I looked at my sleeping bag, and it was these two holes punched in there. And I thought it kind of weird. If it was a mountain lion, maybe it just got one claw in there. But you know what it was? Is somebody had a knife, and they were pulling my sleeping bag off of me, trying to pull it off of me before they can expose me to kill me. And that person ran off. Now, I can't say 100% on that one, but I'm saying that one was really fishy. Now, after that, and then when I woke up in the morning, I looked around for shoe prints, which was interesting. It was right there by the base of my feet, about 10, 15 feet, 20 feet away from me, sort of out of the river bottom. There were fresh tennis shoe prints there. I couldn't see them anywhere else. I didn't see where they came in and where they came out. But once you go up on the ridge, the ground's so hard it won't leave footprints. Only in the sand will it. So whoever it was came off of the ridge down there, watched me, fell asleep, tried to kill me, ran back up the ridge and disappeared. Okay, so I'm saying these people are very intense, but that's where the cops got involved, helping these criminals who were trying to kill me. But which is good. That works in my benefit. This lets the cops know who the blonde-haired guy is, who drives that truck with the antenna and the emblem on the door, who the blonde-haired girl is, because she's the one calling all the time. She called in Coachella once. She called in Cathedral City. These people have put themselves on report as far as I'm concerned. They're not cops. They can't be. They spent too many years, too much time. They do unethical things. Like I say, the one white guy in the white truck hauling a little Mexican kid around with him. That wasn't his kid. It was the same kid in Riverside. This was up here in Yucca. It was the same kid in Riverside, but there it was the people in the white van hauling that kid around. They were trying to get some kind of, hey, this guy's messing with the children type of thing. I'm telling you, they were trying to get me thrown in jail because my brother's agenda is to destroy my life, and these people got to be making money. You don't follow someone for 10 or 15 years and fuck with them, mess with them, get them out there alone and try to kill them unless there's money on the table. All right, well, thanks for listening. This is all for FBI agents and police officers if I happen to get killed. This is the best strategy I have on board.